Cut out jibber jabber. Don't be babbling like a fool. Say what you got to say. That's all. Then shut your dang pie hole.
Oh, it's going to get serious, folks. We have a Purge 2022 coming. We do. In 2020, Democrats did not condemn what was happening. In 2022, Democrats didn't prosecute all the crimes, all of the arson, all of the assaults, all of the destruction of public property. They didn't prosecute, folks, the murder of innocents. In fact, they encouraged it even more after they were bailed out or let go. The FBI, folks, didn't do jack shit about 2022. Neither did the Department of Homeland Security. Nobody in government did. Trump tried, but nobody else really did. Remember, folks, that 40% of Democrats think political assassination is now an acceptable course of action to deal with their political opinions. There is a violent purge coming, folks. Are you ready? Are you prepared? Do you have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense? Do you have a plan? Right? Just again, news story. Arsonists with a hammer and flare attack the office. Now, wait a minute. Arsonists? Oh, burn, loot, murder, right? Burners? Well, they did. They attacked the office of a Republican lawmaker in the state of Washington. That's right, folks. Seattle, Tacoma, Portland, that area of the country. A complete hotbed of lunacy. Total hotbed of lunacy. Why? Well, they don't really know why. These people are dangerous and they are dumb. They broke a window, lit a flare, threw the flare in, and it burned out on a non-flammable surface, concrete floors. These people are dumb, but they don't always get it wrong. They could have thrown a Molotov cocktail. They could have thrown any number of combustibles in there to make things worse. But this is what is happening. It is coming. We've seen it where people are attacked. People are attacked, folks. In fact, 2 reserve Marines were assaulted by a group of Antifa. Now, as big as I am, at 6'6", 265 pounds, I do not want to face a group, right? 5 or more, 3 or more Antifa members, no matter how small and seemingly wimp-like they are. Nobody does, right? Because you can be outnumbered and there's a lot more things that can be done to you with a group than one-on-one. But that's how they attack, in groups, like packs of jackals. Like packs of jackals. Hyenas. Right? They're turds. There is a violent purge coming, folks. We saw it in 2020, and we're going to see it again in 2022. Only this time, they have much more to go on. Right? They hated Trump, and they believed doing what they would do would protect their political position. And seemingly it worked in 2020. Joe Biden won the White House. The Democrats controlled the House and the Senate after all of that violence. Right? What did they purge last time? They purged America of its belief in its own goodness, that America was racist and bad. They can wake that up in a second, in a heartbeat again in this country. Right? They're going to reuse racism again. They're going to reuse it. It is coming. Also, the Roe versus Wade Supreme Court rollover decision is going to allow them to add, right, the right to choose, right, instead of you have a responsibility to act properly. Men and women everywhere need to be responsible when it comes to birth control, so we don't have these problems with unwanted pregnancies. But it has nothing to do with personal responsibility for the left. It doesn't. They want to have everything on demand. They're the entitlement crowd. And they believe that if they get upset up here, then they can respond directly towards you with violence. Right? Now, 2020 occurred before 40% of Democrats thought assassination was an acceptable form of political response. Right? Can you imagine a political debate where you've got two candidates on stage and one of them isn't liked by someone in the crowd and they assassinate the person? They run up with a sharpened butter knife and take the candidate out. And half the audience goes, well done. Well done. We didn't like him. And it's acceptable to assassinate. Can you believe that garbage? If they think that killing people who they don't agree with, right, political opponents is fine, then can they equally think that it's okay to kill your neighbor that you don't agree with? Well, you've got a political candidate you don't like, but your political neighbor you don't like is going to vote for him. So rather than allow him to vote, why don't you just assassinate him? That's the purge thinking. Let's get rid of the people that are voting and representing an idea we don't like. Never mind the fact that they can't debate against them. In fact, I read this headline yesterday that was incredibly disturbing. It was more of an article than just a headline, basically saying that there should be no response allowed, asking for, nay, demanding to see the numbers behind these climate change and Green New Deal ideas. They don't want anyone to look at what they're proposing because they may prove that it's what? False, that it's a bunch of lies, that it's a money-making scheme, that it won't save the environment. And so these green leftists are saying we need to silence everybody. Nobody should be allowed to question them. Talk about dictatorship. So you combine that with this idea of political assassination, terrorism. These aren't arsonists that tried setting fire to the lawmakers, the legislators' office. They're terrorists. Terrorists. When you try to silence someone politically, it's terrorism, folks. Literally. When you push your political agenda with the use of violence and murder, it's terrorism. 40% of Democrats think terrorism is a good thing, right? Let's change the word from assassination of a political opponent to terrorism, which is still murder and assassination, but it is what it is. 40% of Democrats agree with terrorism and using it as a tool, as a political tool. Who are the terrorists? You guessed it. They admit it. They have admitted it in a poll. They think terrorism is fine, folks. The movies out there, The Purge. Well, we're in the Purge 2022, where it is now acceptable. It's not just a screwy idea in a movie. It's not just what if and how cute it would be if we could just assassinate Republicans, assassinate Christians, assassinate people who love the Constitution and love America. Folks, the purge that's coming, Democrats won't condemn it. Democrats won't prosecute it. And the FBI won't pay a moment's attention to the assassination of Republicans. No. I mean, they may feign it, they may pretend, but they really won't put any effort into it because they agree with it. It's serving a purpose, right? The means will justify the end to the FBI and to Democrats in Washington, D.C. when the purge starts. Now, how big the purge gets is something else entirely. Will there be an anti-purge, a reverse purge? We'll find out. The big question for you and me as we watch this play out is, are you prepared? Do you have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine? Do you have self-defense? Do you have a plan to defend and protect yourself from these arsonists, murderous looting scumbags that are out there just waiting to be turned loose. They're waiting for an opportunity to behave lawlessly. Are you prepared? The government knows who they are, folks. The government listens to them as much as they listen to us. The government listens and thinks, how can we use these little turds? And so the evil institutions that are within our government, and no doubt they are within our government, they are listening, watching, and they just know they have to hit a button, a hot spot, an idea that triggers these morons who have been taught that being triggered and responding violently is acceptable. Because, your words are a microaggression. And so they have a right, they think, to respond in violence. Oh yeah, remember, when you respond back violently, they scream for the police that they say are all bastards. But that's how the game is played. That's how Democrats are allowing the game to be played. There is a violent purge coming soon, folks. Will the big one be in 2022? And are you ready? Share this video with others. Share this internet address up there with others so they too can be prepared with all the items they need and a plan and understanding. And that's what we do here at The Prepared Mind, is we gain a better, more complete understanding of the world around us so that we can prepare accordingly. Because chance favors the prepared mind is yours. God bless America. Law and order and justice may it all prevail. Semper Fi.